I don't want to be the stop scrolling guy, but stop scrolling, damn it. Listen to me. Please do. I'm not going to show the photographs. You can look for yourself because I don't want to get a CGV for any fucking reason on this video. Motive, means, opportunity, circumstantial evidence, speculation. I read the entire 95 sworn statement that was given in 2021 from J.E.'s brother. But that's not all. I read text messages and stuff like that. And I want to get into this because he makes a very good point several times. Many valid points that are questionable. Now, I am probably, as I said, I would not be surprised at all if he is breathing, but the likelihood of him sharing oxygen with us still is probably very, very low. Stop posting all those fake pictures of him. Yep, he's here. We see him, and is he real? Yeah, no. Here it is. You can go look it up for yourself. September 22nd, 2021. Now, they were brothers. Regardless of everything, they were brothers. Did his brother know what J.E. was doing? I don't know. I could tell you I love my brother very much. We haven't seen each other that often because we live in different states. We try to stay in contact as often as possible. Coming to you from a brother's perspective. I don't know what goes on in his everyday life. I just know he's a terrific guy. He takes care of his children. He's a loving husband. And he's had a very difficult life, just as I have. We were fucking brothers. Keep this in mind. He's talking about filming. This is 3 days before he was arrested. You're going to have to pause. This was the day he was arrested. All canceled. Why are not coming in? You are not coming in? Question mark. Yep, that's like the last thing he sent, and this is the last thing. All canceled. For reference, they redact the Department of Justice individual, the person who was interviewing him. There's a lot of indescribables. Here he's talking about he was surprised to hear, that J.E. would, that what Trump was saying, that I don't know him anymore, blah, blah. Here he directly says, I think Trump was behind it. And we'll get to that. But if you were a legal businessman, you would know that Trump is a crook. Everybody knows Trump is a crook. That's why no legitimate real estate people would deal with him. Very well documented, wouldn't you say? He robs people. He doesn't pay people. He's screwed over and over and over. And he gets, pays them like a percentage of what he owes them. Then they sign a non-disclosure. Very well documented. We all know that. Here he's talking about when J.E. was arrested. Mind you, this is a couple of years later. So he didn't have the dates exactly right. Here he says they hadn't seen him for like 7 years, but they talked, over the phone, emails, and that he has the correspondence of the email. Yes, and I have confirmed this. Prior to his death, they had filed an appeal about his denial of bail. Yes, they did, which was scheduled to happen like 2 days after. His attorney spoke to his brother. Was he willing to put up the money and somebody else? And yeah, of course, they were going to get the money. He thought it was around like $100 million or something like that. And they're like, okay. So he was going to have a bail hearing, number one, 2 days after he allegedly terminated himself. He's talking about putting up his jets, his house, all that good stuff, to get him out of jail. On bail, he'd be on an ankle monitor, so on and so forth. But the FBI got this information that it did exist. And then a few months later, he was arrested. They break into his house with a search warrant, and he's asking, I want to see that search warrant. And here's where it starts getting interesting, where he starts making some good points. They brought him to the hospital for whatever reason and removed him. He had already been allegedly self-terminated for 2 hours. Two EMTs and 2 other people, and someone would have a video camera of that. And why did they dress him in a hospital gown? And I think that's a valid point, if you know what picture I'm talking about. Why are they trying to make him look like, Bannon told me there is a prison culture here. Nobody dies in prison. They find a dead body, they ship them to the hospital, and it's declared dead in the hospital. That's traditional in the prison system because they don't want to deal with the dead body in the prison. He thinks, it's all a charade. Why, try to incubate them and do all that stuff. There was a camera guy there taking photographs. You got people questioning, how did he know to be there? Why was he there by the prison early that morning to take photographs? He's on the gurney and he has, and he's covered in a sheet. They have a neck brace on him. Picture I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen it. And he's intubated. They have a thing down his throat and they're squeezing one of those, the balloons, trying to get air into his lungs. Names of the EMTs have not been released as far, on a basic search that I couldn't find. Key points, guards failed to do checks at 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. He was found while they were delivering breakfast. So I think, based on a quick search here, CPR started at 6:33. EMT arrival, while the exact minute the outside EMTs entered the specific 9 South unit is not explicitly stated. Minute by minute logs. They took over prison staff and Epstein in an ambulance by 7:10 a.m. and he was pronounced at 7:36. He also makes a couple other good points, I think, that, and I looked it up, and I don't want to show it for reasons, but if you look up what a soft hang is, typically that doesn't happen, but apparently J.E. had 3 broken bones in his neck. And he's questioning the area of the scar, right? He's like, you think it would be a little more farther up. They say he jumped off his bunk possibly or whatnot, but even that is still considered a soft. And the whole quickly, 6:33 finding him, he's in an ambulance by 7:10 at the hospital, pronounced at 7:36, like an hour and 3 minutes. That's pretty quick. And the photograph with him in a gown, yeah, I mean, that's questionable. He makes a point that, like, when that happens and somebody, whatever, they put a sheet over you. Why did they dress him in a hospital gown? That's weird, right? So here are the things we know. Approximately 12 days before this happened, he was visited by people and was going to spill the beans, allegedly. That his attorneys confirmed that took place. All the things after, just none of it adds up to me. And it's just my opinion on the matter. I don't know about you, but his brother makes some pretty valid points, about the gown, about the broken bones, stuff like that. The timing, how quick it was done, the area. He states looks more like it was pulled rather than, hanging like a picture. So the 12 days before that happened, he's like, okay, I'm going to turn state's evidence. Fuck. His brother directly accuses Donald Trump in there. 2 days after this, he had a scheduled appeal bail hearing in 2 days. His brother, another individual, and I think somebody else was going to put up all the money to get him out on bail, ankle monitor, everything like that, whatever, right? In 2 days. He couldn't make it 2 more days. And they bring up the will. Yeah, did he mess with his will or whatever? I don't need my brother's money. He didn't need my money. Yep. The reason he did that is they believe because he thought he was going to be murdered in prison, just in case. See, that reads like a very pissed off brother. I'm not, what J.E. did, and my feelings on it. You followed me long enough, you know exactly how I feel about it. He's probably where he belongs. But if the allegations are true, that the current person squatting in the White House had something done to, and there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. I've seen juries convict on a lot of circumstantial evidence. Now we have him. We just need to move past it. These files, we got better things to worry about. If you have a bail hearing in 2 days and you're a fucking billionaire, right? And then 12 days before you decide, you know what? Fuck it. I know I'm busted. I'm going to tell everything. So my question is, what happened to Mega and Epstein? Remember, they were the ones, he didn't do it. He had help. Now everybody's all of a sudden quite silent on it over there, aren't they? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Leave a comprehensive comment about what you think about all of this, please.